Hello, everybody, and welcome back. We are finally on to the last session, session 8, which I have been waiting for until we arrived. So, for session 8, the very last session, we will be going over variables and solving for the variable. And yeah, so for the vocab, we obviously need to know what a variable is. So, a variable, most of the time, is a letter. So, it's most of the time a letter that stands for an unknown number or number, amount, or value. So you can call it number, amount, or value. So first we're going to have to figure out how to find a variable in the equation. So this is very easy. Just find each letter in number 1 and 2. So pause the video and figure out each letter, or I'm going to call it variable because letter is not mathematically correct in my opinion. So yeah, hopefully you're done and you figured out the variable. So this one you see here, you have a D. So D, and a variable is always lowercase. It's lowercase. Never gonna be this. Never. Always lowercase. Now, once again, you see here, there's an S. So it would be S. So now on to 8-2. Solving for the variable. This is what you're mainly supposed to do with the variable. You're supposed to solve for the unknown number, amount, or value. So the steps, number 1. Use inverse operation to isolate the variable. So this is the major step, isolate the variable. So, but to do this, you're also going to have to follow do order of operations backwards. So eventually you're going to get the isolated variable using these 2 steps. So I will be doing one practice problem. So pretend we have 3x equals 24. So this one, you don't really have to use order of operations. There's only one. So this one would just be so this time when you have a variable next to a number, that equals multiplication. So that equals multiplication. So opposite of multiplication is division. So you would do 3 divided by 3x equals 24 divided by 3. So this equals 1. So 1x, and this equals 8. So 1x is the same thing as just calling it x. X equals 8. So this one I give you, x would equal 8. So we didn't really have to use order of operations backwards, but for these 2 problems, you will have to use it backwards because you have to solve for this. You have multiplication here and subtraction here, same thing for number 2. So pause the video, solve these. When you're done, like always, it's a tradition, unpause the video. Okay, hopefully you paused it and solved because I will be going over it now. So the first one is 34f minus 7 equals 95. So we use order of operations backwards. So we have multiplication and we have subtraction. So usually multiplication would have came first, but we're going backwards, so we would do subtraction first. So opposite of subtraction is addition. So 34f. So we can so we don't really pretend nothing happens here. 34f equals, so 95 minus plus 7 actually, because remember, you have to use inverse operation, equals 102. Now we know that this is a multiplication, so do division. So when you divide, you just get f because this cancels out, remember. And then 102 divided by 34 is equal to 3. So we get f is equal to 3. So this one, we just write f equals 3. And remember, always lowercase, f equals 3. Now, for this one, we have to solve for e, which we learned here, identifying, we have to solve for e. So 6 plus 3 plus e plus 3 plus e equals 90. So they're all addition, and according to the commutative property, the order does not matter. So I'm going to switch it so e is on the furthermost left. E plus 3 plus 6 equals 90. So we can just use properties 2 to help us. So now so it's both addition, meaning you can start with 3 or 6. But I'm going to start with the rightmost one because usually in order of operations, you go from left to right. But since it's backwards, you go from right to left. So you start with, so you got e plus 3. Then opposite of addition is subtraction. So 90 minus 6 you get as 84. So same thing, e equals, so 84 minus 3 is equal to 81. So, oh my god, what is that? 81. Okay. So this one, e equals 81. So the next one is just the same thing about solving for the variable, just a trick called combining like terms. So the steps is, if you have the same variable, then you can combine it based on the operation of the variable. Variable. So do these practice problems. It's very simple. Just use. I'll give you a hint. You can combine it based on, yeah, okay. So a hint for this one, you're gonna have to use the commutative property of addition, so you can switch the order of the numbers and just combine the variables based on the operation. And so use this step combined with these steps to solve. So hopefully you pause the video and solve them, because I will be going over it now. So 2m plus 3 plus 6m equals 19. So as I stated, you're going to have to alter the way it's grouped so that these variable terms, they're called terms, can be next to each other. So you can do 3, actually I want 3 to be on the most right, so we can get rid of it easily. 2m plus 6m plus 3 equals 19. So before we combine the like terms, let's get rid of this 3 using subtraction. So 2m plus 6m, then 19 minus 3 equals 16. So 2m plus 6m equals 16. Now we get 2m plus 6m. So they're both a variable, so they have the same variable. So the variable will still be left as m. So it's not going to be like 2m's. You can combine the m's, and so just 1m, but you have to add 2 plus 6, so it would be 8m. So it won't be 8mm, just 8m equals 16. Now 16 divided by 8 finally equals m is equivalent to 2. So that's how you combined it. Hopefully if you didn't understand this, after how I solved number 1, you can retry pausing the video and retry number 2. Okay, hopefully you retry number 2 if you didn't understand it, but now you do, so let's go. So this one's much easier also. 3g minus 2g equals 6. So this time you don't combine it, but you subtract it. So when you subtract g minus g, remember the g doesn't turn to 0, you just have the same thing. 1g, then 3 minus 2, 1g equals 6. Remember, as I mentioned over, where it was? Oh yeah, over here, 1x equals 8. We can just write that as x equals 8. Same thing here. We can just write this as g equals 6. So our answer for this one would just be g equals 6. So this was a pretty short and easy last video. Hopefully it was easy after the way I did it for you. So very short and easy last video. I hope you enjoyed it. Like, subscribe, hit the notification button. And just because our session is over doesn't mean I'm not going to post any more videos. So you can still keep on watching.